Hi, I'm Hunter Allen with Peaks Coaching Group, and I want to tell you a little story today about how the Performance Manager chart came to life and what was that in terms of the history of power training. If you've watched my other video, the history of TSS, you know a little bit about how training stress score was created, and then that concept came another step further when we created the Performance Manager chart. So this was the next step in that piece, because ultimately what I wanted to do was basically be able to take your score, your TSS score, your training stress score from each ride, and then plot that over time so that we could see how much training load did you have, and then how did that correlate with your peaks of fitness. So that was one of the things that then Andy Coggan, again, he went away and came back and came up with this model based on the model that Bannister created, basically the training impulse model. A model that's been around since 1975, nothing crazy, nothing new, but we never had computer power to actually implement it so that we could take that training stress score, which we needed for every ride, and put it into this model. So then what happened from there is, because basically the model is, right, what happens is you have you have zero training, you're completely detrained, and then you go out for a 100 TSS ride, and so your acute training load goes up, right? Acute training load is everything you've done in the last 7 days. And then that means you're fatigued, right? So then your fatigue, it goes down, right? You become fatigued. Instead of being fresh up here, you become fatigued. But then you don't train anymore, so now your acute training load comes down. But what happens is this line called chronic training load. That's the training load that's accumulated over typically 42 days. That comes up. So your fitness, your fatigue comes down, your fitness rises because your body's adapting, and then all of a sudden now you're recovering from that hard effort. And somewhere in there's a little sweet spot, right? That's exactly where you have the greatest fitness and also the least amount of fatigue, so that you can create a peak performance. Because that's really what it's all about, right? Not all the time are we going to win a bike race, or we're going to break our personal best record, or win the Strava segment, or whatever your goal is, but making that peak performance you can do, right? Because that's what we really want to get after, is a peak performance. So the PMC was born in a spreadsheet initially, and so that's how we really started working on that. We had a secret wattage list group that Coggan and a bunch of us were working in, and we started playing and putting our data in the spreadsheet. And then once we got it to a certain point, then we got it to our programmers on WKO software, was able to program that into version 2.2, and then that was then the birth of the Performance Manager chart for everybody. So that's a little history on how the Performance Manager chart came about and what it does. Check out the next video. I'm going to do another little thing on talking more about that model and how we use it in training. So I'm Hunter Allen, Peaks Coaching Group. Like us on Facebook. I put tips on there every day, so look at Facebook, Peaks Coaching Group, and check out all of our great photos and stuff on Instagram as well. Thanks for watching.